investing in low-income real estate. Thelonious C. Jones here. I want to talk to you about this. I've been investing in low-income real estate since 2009. I own and manage a portfolio of properties that I will consider low-income. I've been selling a lot of properties. I sold a lot of our portfolio in 2016, but at our peak of that portfolio, 70 to 80% of those properties in that portfolio were on Section 8, so I would consider that to be low-income housing. So I have a lot of experience with this. I'm 29 now, and I've been investing in low-income housing since I was 23, so 6-7 years. So I'm going to give you some tips and advice, my best tips and advice on investing in low-income houses from experience, not from theory, from experience. And if you want to know more about the transactions and deals I've done, click on the link below. Go in the description, click on theloniuscjones.com or udigroupllc.com, and I have case studies. If you click on the About sections on both of those web pages, I have case studies on deals I've bought, sold, had rented as rental incomes in low-income communities in Atlanta. So let me give you the first tip is understanding your risk. I think one of the downfalls to investing in low income is that people don't understand their risk. They don't understand what it takes to invest in low income housing. They don't have the wherewithal. They don't know what, if they've never lived in a low income environment, there's some things that they may not understand that go on. So you must understand your risk. You may want to talk to other investors that have done deals in those areas. Talk to agents that sell a lot of properties in low income areas. Just look at YouTube videos like this of people that have experience in low income buying, selling, rentals, or whatever type of a low income investing you want to get into. But you have to make sure you understand the risk. You need to understand, hey, what happens if the house gets broken into? Do I have the right insurance? You know what I mean? Low income people, I hate to say it, at times they're sitting home, they're watching those TV shows, sue me, sue them, sue everybody. So what if they try to fall off the deck and then try to sue you? Do you have the right insurance? Do you understand your risk in that type of situation? So these are questions you need to ask yourself when it comes to low income investing as a real estate investor. Understand your risk. Make sure you have the right insurance. Okay, you make sure you're covered. You have general liability. Make sure you understand what happens if the house is broken into. What happens if the house is vandalized? So just try to understand these things, because these are the type of things that happen in low-income environments. Number two is management and systems. If you don't have the right management, if you don't have the right systems, I don't think anything's going to work. And especially it's not going to work on low income, because it needs to be attended to a little more than some other aspects of real estate investing. So make sure you have the right property manager, or if you're managing it, do you have your system and management in line? If you don't, go check out my book. Check the description below, Landlord Blueprint. It's a book, it's a manual, it's a course, over 60 downloadable audio segments, over 25 videos, over 50 forms, rental forms. So go check that out. That's like everything I use to run my business, my rental business. So you just make sure you have the right systems. Make sure you know what you're doing. Make sure you got the right property manager in there, that they understand the low income environment. You may need to call a property manager. Hey, do you specialize in low income? Do you understand the Section 8 process? I've had property managers I've hired, they don't know how to rent Section 8. So now I'm like, okay, I can't use you, Or one guy, I had to kind of show him the process. He's the property manager, but I'm showing him how to rent the house, Section 8. So you got to understand the process, and even dealing with Section 8. I mean, there's a lot of headaches dealing with the entity alone, the housing authority. So do you have the time, energy, and effort, or do you have the right management system to deal with Section 8 if they fail an inspection, but you passed? I dealt with 4 of those in 2016 alone. Then trying to send the property into abatement. Do you know what abatement is? When you're dealing with Section 8, understand these terms, understand these things, understand what it takes when you're dealing with government assistance, the inspection process. What does that take? Do I have to invest a certain amount of money into the property to get the property to pass inspection so the tenant can move in? Understanding all these aspects. In Atlanta, it's certain blocks you can't rent on because it's too rough, and Section 8 will not rent to you. So understanding all these different aspects of low-income housing is critical. So either you as the manager, the owner, the operator, the investor, whoever, whatever your position, or the manager, whoever's running the spearheading this investing for you or taking control of the management, they got to understand what they're doing, how to do it, how to get it done efficiently, so you're not losing time and money in this game. So the last thing in low income investing, and it's a big problem, is you have to have goals, you have to have plan, you got to have an exit strategy. I think a lot of people just want to get in low income because the prices of the houses are cheap. Okay, and then a lot of you get into it and you don't know step number 2 or 1. You don't understand your risk. You're just looking at the cheap price and you don't know how it's going to be managed. You don't know who's going to manage it. You don't know who's going to rent it out. So the property is just sitting there and you can't find good tenants, or you get one tenant, they get kicked out. You get discouraged because you were just looking at the cheapness of the property. You weren't looking at the operation. So you got to look at the operation of the property. You have to have goals. Like, how many properties I want to have low income? What do I want to provide as a low income landlord, as a low income investor, as a low income property owner? What is my goal? What is my plan when I'm operating this property? Am I just buying it just because it's cheap? Do I want to kind of upbring the neighborhood and take this abandoned house, fix it, then rent it out to try to uplift the community? What is your plan? Is it just, hey, the property's $10,000 and I can rent it for $700 a month? Yeah, in theory you can do that, but if you don't know what you're doing, it's not going to work. Okay? So, and then another thing that you must consider, especially if you're just considering the price, is what is the exit? What is the exit? I mean, how long do you want to hold this property? 2 years, 3 years, 10 years, your whole life? What is the exit strategy? What do you want to do? You know what I mean? What is your plan? Even if you have the property, what is your plan if the tenant moves out unexpectedly? What is your plan if you have an eviction? What is your plan if you have to fire your property manager? What is your plan if Section 8 is doesn't want to rent in that neighborhood anymore and you're trying to do some low-income housing? Just looking at all these things and having a plan for them. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of things that will go wrong. So low-income investing, yeah, I recommend it. I recommend everything if you know what you're doing, you understand your risk, and you have the knowledge. But if you don't, then I don't recommend it. But do these things. I'm going to go over these one more time. Low income investing, first you got to understand your risk, man. That goes down to just, do I understand the neighborhood? Do I understand what's going on? You got the right insurance? And understanding the worst situation that could happen with the house. They burn the house down to one of the tenants, or the house gets broken into and vandalized. They strip all the copper. Do I understand my risk, the worst case scenario going in? Do I understand that? Management and systems. Do I have the right property manager? Am I managing property? Do I have the right systems? I mean, a lot of things I deal with in low-income housing, I've dealt with just over the last couple of months. I dealt with a break-in at one property on Section 8. And Section 8 is calling me, asking me what I'm going to do. I'm not going to do nothing because I didn't break in the house. And my policy is, if someone breaks in your house, well, actually, I can't even tell you my policy because I gave it to you in a landlord blueprint, but I didn't even have to deal with that issue. I told you, I'm not dealing with that because that's not my policy. So certain things like that, because I have a policy, I know how to deal with it. Some of y'all, you may pay $500 to fix a door that you didn't break into the house, so why you got to fix the door? So these are things I talk about in landlord blueprint, and these are issues that you may have to deal with in low-income housing. So you have to have the right management, you have the right systems. Another house, Section 8. She complained about rats, but hey, man, the house was treated before you moved in. It had no rats. Now there's rats in there. I don't have nothing to do with that. So it's what are the systems? How are you dealing with these things? The management. Does your property manager understand your systems and how you want to operate? Do they know how to deal with Section 8? Is their specialty low-income housing? Did you ask them before you hired them? Do you specialize in low-income housing? You're a real estate agent. Before you bought from them, do you specialize in low-income housing? You just ask the right questions. And then lastly, why are you getting into it? Are you getting into it just because it's cheap? Are you getting into it because you grew up in low-income housing? Are you getting into it because you see opportunity in the neighborhood? Are you getting into it because maybe you work for a nonprofit and you see the need for more income housing in America? I don't know, but what is your goal? What is your plan, good or bad? What is your best plan going in? What if all hell breaks loose and, like I said, the house is burnt down? What is your plan dealing with that? What if you have to fire your property manager? What if your property manager is not being honest, stealing money from you? I've had to deal with these things. So think about it. What is your plan? How would you deal with that? And then lastly, what is your exit? You're holding it for 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, your whole life. What is the cycle of this investment? Go in with a plan, okay? Thelonious C. Jones. Okay, Thelonious C. Jones. I appreciate y'all watching this video. If you want to set up a free 20-minute consultation, look below. Go to TheloniouSCJones.com, click on services. Let's talk. We can talk more about low-income housing and some tips and suggestions from my experience, not something I read in a book. From my experience, so I can help you out. So let me know how I can help. I look forward to helping you out soon. Thank you for watching.